Hey, great night to you all. I trust that you're all able to wake up super grateful to be alive again another day in this experience. And I trust that you were all able to set that high vibe for yourself by telling yourself all of those amazing things that you needed to hear. You're strong, you're smart, you're beautiful, you are capable, and you're going to flow, feeling that love over worry and flowing from that state like water over rocks, with ease and great force, yet least effort. Some envelopes just dropped, so. Power 51 on the grids today. Yes. Let me show you. Kaboom. Shazam. Wow. Power 51 on the grids. You see all that white? That's recalibration. You know, when you're dealing with energetics and frequency, higher frequencies win. So do you think lowered frequencies have a chance in that? Not at all. And this is why it's so important that I talk about it, because honestly, you know, energy is what dictates everything. So you know what? I'll put it a little smaller. Now, your energetic force and your energetic state determines everything as well. So if you're feeling tired, you don't have much energy to put into anything. So how much can you really create when you're exhausted? You can't. You're just thinking about rejuvenation and sleeping and wanting to feel better. Do you know that you can power yourself up just by words, just by thought, just by putting your intention into paying yourself first? The reason why you get so tired and so disabled from your truth is because you tell yourself that. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, and you get up and you dread the experience. This is why people drag through it and they survive it. You know how many people in the world today are just trying to survive? I know what that feels like. I was once in survival mode too, trying to survive. But I am feeling more and more alive, especially with all of these whoppers of energies hitting us. Yes, because we've had over 70 solar flares since February 1st. And you know, I've been telling people for a very long time that there's going to come a time where energy is going to dictate. And there'll be a purge on the planet. An energetic purge. Well, this is exactly what this is. Those who cannot hold the frequency are getting eliminated from the game. And I hate to say it like that, but I must, because I have to speak in the truth of what is really happening. Yeah. So if you're feeling capable and loving yourself and able to stand in the truth of all of that, and you've ignited your own self-reflection and insight, what does that truly mean? You get out of your own way and you can stay in the flow of the all-knowing power that feeds you life. You're just fine. You're going to thrive right now. Why? Because that's what the energies are demanding and commanding. So if you're in alignment with your truth of what you are energetically first, now it's your time to win. Because the ones that have been holding the love in such a crippling and dismantling system, well, we were shackled to survival and suffering and silencing and stigmatization and all kinds of stuff. Yes, we were. For a very long time. Until we broke free of those exact shackles. You see? And this is why. Because now, as the truth surfaces for all things, which is what? We're energy first, number one. Energy rules the show, number two. The truth of all things must come to light. This is not unexpected. There is a real process and a program of everybody seeing the truth. Some people can't handle the truth. It's going to push them into survival even more. But some of us have known the truth for a very long time. Well, now that the truth of all things is surfacing, this is where the abundance is going to flow to you if you're flowing from it energetically. Your energetic state is going to dictate all of your results. If you're feeling overjoyed with life, with your experience, with your capacities, with your truth and the all-knowing power that flows through you, if you become one with it, you will overflow in abundance outside of you right now. And there's always a germination process. And you know, a lot of people think that, okay, it's now, it's now, it's now. Do you know that when you wake up and you breathe, that's your truest abundance first? That's your energetic wealth first. Where you spend it all day is up to you. And this is why it's so important for you to pay yourself first, especially in these times of change. Why? Because energetics rule. We're energy first. Energy is needed for everything. And if you don't let the highest potential of what is fueling you for existence flow through you and overflow in its own abundance, you are crippling your own capacities at this point. And yes, this is where the split really happens, and it's in consciousness. It's those that can embody the truth and the frequency of it. In other words, you're feeling very creative, very powerful, very aligned right now as this energy hits, or you're feeling the flip side. You're losing your mind, you're losing your money, and you're losing your mobility. You see? And why do I say that? Well, because when the truth surfaces and it's not what somebody believes, it causes distortion in one's being, and then cognitive dissonance, and then they battle with themselves and they battle with the truth instead of accepting it and surrendering to it. Yeah, I know what that is. I was scared to face myself for a very long time. I made excuses. I didn't know better. But now that I do know better, that's why I have to share it. That's why I have to teach others. That's why I have to come out and encourage others. And it was crazy because I had a great talk with Boss before I came out here tonight. Why? Because I was being instructed to come out and go live. And I was like, look, I haven't gone live in days. And at this point, it's like nobody hears me anyway. There's very few that publicly support the truth and share it, or because everybody's in competition with themselves and with everybody else in the world. Me, I'm not in competition with anybody. And those who do not support you publicly, it's because they talk shit behind closed doors. And it's as simple as that. I support me, so therefore I don't need it. You see, when you need things from others, you lack it for your own being. I don't delegate my wellness, my well-being, my all-knowing, my overflow, my capacities, or my truth to anybody. They won't get it. They haven't lived all that I have. And no, I'm not just somebody who beat death 7 times. I've done a lot of great things in this world. Yes, I have. I was the president of the largest cooperative housing unit in North America for 2 years. I gave my all to that. And I was also the treasurer. And there's a lot of great things that I've done in this world. And I've already made a lot of change and impact for thousands of people. Way before now. I know the truth of that. Nobody has the skills and experience that I have in my lived experience. No, because it's mine. And that's what everybody has to own for themselves. There is not another being like you. There is not another that has lived and conquered everything that you have. And let's be real with it. When you're playing this game of life, everything is coming at you to stop you. So if you're still here breathing and feeling great, congratulations. Because I can honestly tell you, that about 70% of the people are still asleep. What is that? They're asleep to their own power, their own knowing, their own capacities. They stay stuck in stagnancy, seeking external validation, instruction, what to do next, opinions. They delegate their well-being and their health into the hands of everybody but their heart. People, if you don't stay in your heart space, you push yourself into survival. That's why we have the reptilian brain and then the emotional brain that kicks in after that to regulate your own mismanagement of your heart space. Because if you can't stay in the knowing and the truth of your heart, well, then you push your own being into survival. So what does that look like? Well, if you get up and you feel ashamed of anything and your body's storing shame, well, you're going to feel the effects of that. If you are feeling guilty for something or guilting others, shaming and guilting others, you're in despair, you're dreading your life, well, that's a state of hell. And that state that you induce on yourself is amplified with these energies. That's why you got to get real with yourself and have the courage to become neutral to the whole experience, to break free from it. Instead of watching what everybody else is doing and what everybody else wants for you, you have to sit with yourself. You have to look at your own being and say, what do I want for me? It's not about anybody else. And what state do I embody? Well, to figure that out, what mood are you in most of the time? How many times a day do you pop off and get so anxious or angry? Or how long do you hang on to anger for? You know, when you can't stay in your heart space and it triggers the instinctual reptilian brain, and then the emotional center that kicks in to correct that mismanagement and instability of survival that was induced by the self, that when all of that calms down in 60 to 90 seconds, the logic kicks in the answers. You see? But while you're in that mismanagement part of not being able to stay in your heart space, well, then you've triggered your own survival. You've triggered your own emotional response to it to soothe that inability and mismanagement of your own heart. And the truest GPS, what state do you embody? In other words, what mood are you in? What mood are you in when you wake up? What mood are you in most of the day? What mood do you embody? Because that becomes who you are. So if you choose like the pattern of being miserable, that's why I say you cannot please a miserable person. Never. So stop trying. You shouldn't be trying to please anybody anyway. No. What are you doing for you? Do you try to please you just as much as you try to please everybody else? Huh. You really got to get real with yourself in this time of change, because it's energy that's winning. And I've had so many questions about the things that are popping up all over social media. And what did I think of it? And what did I... Listen, I'll say it. Even the Dalai Lama is named in those Epstein files. Okay? You want fame, you want fortune, you want recognition. Well, there's a lot that you got to comply to. Sacrifice, rituals, suffering, silencing. That's the give and take. For the flip side, well, that's also a lot of very prominent people in this world are there. And they've only released 200,000 pages of like, what, millions of pages or something? Or 350,000 pages or something? Like, but what's my opinion to it all? Well, it's about time the world caught up. It's about time that some truth has been exposed, but it's only half truth anyway. It's only what they want you to know. Like, come on now. Do you really think that arrests are going to be made? You really think that things are going to change? Why do you think all of the tunnels are underground? Why do you think all of these big events happen? You know how many people go missing at these things? That's not talked about. I was asked about, Tobi, what do you think about this Leviathan? Well, we do have a serpent of this earth. Would I call it Leviathan? Well, a lot of people have seen what it is and the red foam washing up on the shore, how toxic it is. And there's a lot of evidence that it's waking up and moving. And the states wouldn't have B-17 bombers and B-52 bombers and everything in that water waiting for no reason. It's not for drug smuggling. They're waiting for something to pop out of there. The way it's so heavily guarded and how Venezuela was like, there's so many things happening. And then the cold. Listen, you all see what happens in Florida when it gets cold and the reptiles fall. The iguanas don't move. Well, like, people like to complicate shit, and it's very simple. It's very simple. What do I think about it? I don't. I don't think about any of this stuff. None of it. Nor do I put my life force into it. Because I know that it's master manipulation. It is master illusion. Okay? And it is to induce fear, disgust, guilt, shame, blame. Listen, everybody's watching it, but what? And everybody's complaining about it, but what is anybody really doing about it? And everybody loves to talk about these things, but what is anybody doing about it? Not very much. So I had a great talk with boss, and I was like, look, I don't even want to go live. I haven't gone live in a couple of days. Why? Well, because I didn't have much to say. I've been out here talking about this stuff for a very, very, very long time. Very long time. And hey, the truth has to surface. It's like stirring a pot of stew. You got to bring what's at the bottom up to the top. Well, there's a lot of things that go on in this world that shouldn't. A lot. And it's made to look like a lot of other things. And, you know, everything's scripted anyway. And that's why I tell you all, write your own script. Be your own person. If I would have lived by the script that I was handed to, I would be dead. Big time. I would have never survived. I would have never come back from the dead. And you know, it was funny. Because my doctor, the last time I saw her, told me. She said, Tobi, I believe you died in ICU because I saw that they had reanimated you. That was not something anybody ever told me in that file. And I never remembered that part. I remembered asking to get put back in my body. But I didn't know that they were reanimating me. So, like, you know, I survived everything that I have to be able to hold the truth that I do. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand how I counterbalance a lot of people. Well, the frequency that I hold is not like another because of my energetic signature, my mission, my reason for coming to this existence. And no, it's not just because my parents decided to have sex. No. So, you know, you got to get real with the truth of your soul power, its highest potential, what's in your soul contract for existence. Because you weren't just given life on a whim. No, you weren't. And no, your purpose for breathing is not just to take up space. No, it's not. And whether you've realized it for yourself or not, the truth of all things is coming to light, even the reason why you're breathing. So don't focus on what's going on outside of you. It's an illusion. They're trying to produce mass fear to install it back into the grid. And that frequency cannot hold in this. No, it can't. So this is why it's so important that everybody not hold any fear, any shame, any blame, any guilt. None of that. Because that's self-suffering, that's self-sabotage, that is self-infliction of the highest form of a hellish state. Literally. And, you know, when you're worth everything and all in existence, because that's what's flowing through you, you're not going to settle for less than that. I had to figure that out the hard way. Yeah. And you can't give this state to another being. They have to acquire it on their own by doing the work. What is the work? Having the courage to become neutral to their existence and to clean the shit out that is stored in their vessel. It's like keeping your car filled with, okay, yes, perfect, okay. So imagine this. You're driving your car, you get a new car. And every time you get into the car, you have a snack of some kind. And you throw the wrapper in the back. Okay? Well, there's going to come a time, if you do not pick up that wrapper daily, that you're going to look back and you're going to see your back seat full of shit. That's the same way you drive around in your body. Oh, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for now. I'll do it later. Oh, it doesn't matter for now. Oh, just... And then you get to a point where you don't feel good. You were low energy. You don't know what's next. You're feeling like you're fighting everything, running from things, or feeling stuck. And you feel overwhelmed because you don't have that time or energy to clean up that fucking mess that you made. That's, that's just how it is. And people make excuses for it. They'd rather throw a sheet or a cover over it so it's not exposed, but leave all of that there. That's, or it's... You know how you put all the garbage in your bag and when it's full, you take it out to the dump? Well, imagine every one of your experiences that ever harmed you in your life. Put them in a garbage bag visually. How many bags could you fill up? Well, that's all the shit that you're still storing because you haven't taken it to the dump. You haven't taken the trash out of your own body. And what is that? The belief systems that keep you bound to less than. Well, with this kind of energy hitting the planet, it's not sparing anybody. No. And it's time that if you haven't gotten real with yourself, boy, your choices are going to force you to get real with yourself. Your mood and your state that you choose for yourself, you're going to get real with yourself. You know why? Because whatever state you choose to embody right now, you're going to feel it amplified. It's like instant karma. If you are going to lie to yourself, you're going to feel the effects of that confusion and uncertainty within. You're going to feel that survival mode heightened. And this is why I encourage you all to get real with yourself. Don't allow anything but the truth of your energetic force to flow through you. And what is that? It's the fiercest force in the entirety of existence that got you up out of bed. So yes, you walked around today as the fiercest force in the entirety of existence. What did you do with that? Did you put that into lying to yourself? Did you put that into recalibrating your own being? Did you put that into everybody else's pocket by paying attention to what everybody else needed except for you? These are the things that you have to look at. These are the things you can't be taking the fiercest force in the entirety of existence that flows through you and hand it out freely like water to drink. No, that's for your regulation. That is for your highest potential of creation. And that is to fuel your purpose of existence. Not everybody else's. They have their own. And this is why in this time of change, you cannot allow anybody to expect from you what they cannot expect from themselves. You cannot save another human being because while you're dumping your life force into their cup to keep them from being thirsty, you are depleting your tank unless you're in an overflow state. It's as simple as that. It's very easy to feed others when you're in an overflow. It doesn't inflict you. But when you're living in a state of hell and you're trying to help everybody else, you're just handing out your hellish state. That's all you're doing. Like, what are you bringing to yourself, to your people, and to your own results? What state are you creating from? The best state to create from is that universal love that got you up. Because that's the magic. And that's what makes everything possible to begin with. So if you don't stay on the same level as that, well, you will not create to the same potential of it. You see the correlation? You know, people think that love is an emotion. Nah, I tell everybody that I love them. What does that mean? That means I extend my life force to you. When I say I wrap you in love, I say I wrap you in the fiercest force of the entirety of existence to assist your creative power. Not mine. I'm in overflow. Simple. Well, your state is going to create. Your state is affected by what you think, what you say, and what you do. And I hate to tell you, but that is strictly on you. That's not up to any person, place, or thing. That's not up to any circumstance, situation, or scenario. That is up to you and what you do with it. Where are you paying that fiercest force of creative power into? You handing it out like water to drink? Or are you paying yourself first the way you should? Because that enables you to be in an overflow. And every time you need something from somebody else, it's because you lack giving it to yourself. You need nothing with the entirety of existence flowing through you because you already have it all. You see the discrepancy? Well, you got to walk around as it because you are it. This is not something, oh, fake it till you make it. No, the universe's power and perfect design got your ass out of bed today. What excuse do you have in your life after you have the whole universe backing your every breath and every movement? The only thing that's in your way would be you and what you believe. That's why in this type of change, Power 51 on the grids, you got to get right with yourself and do it fast because this is a catalytic change. So all of these solar flares we've had, it's energy. Nothing has stayed the same. It can't. Energy runs it. So with all of these solar flares that we've had since the beginning of February, and this today on the grid, and it's been constant change, X-class solar flares, big whoppers. Well, that's the sun. That's correlated to willpower and the all-knowing perfect design of its creative power and thriving force. Well, if it's creative power and thriving force that's hitting the planet and feeding us all to amplify our creative power, well, if you're not in a creative power ready to create, well, guess what? You're not in alignment with what's hitting the planet. So what does alignment really mean? Well, you have to be on the same frequency. So if we're getting whopped with heightened creative power, well, if you're destroying yourself, that creative power is going to fuel your destruction with its full force. It's whatever you choose for yourself. So you got to choose you every time. And you got to choose the love that fuels you. And that's why I encourage you all to flow. Your state genuinely is going to, you're going to see that in your life, the results. Your state, if you're feeling low energy, well, you're creating illness and distortion in your being. Yes, you are. And it's going to be heightened because that creative power is going to push that choice to its highest potential. So if you choose that you're sick, you're going to get really sick. If you choose that you're capable, you're going to become very capable. You see the difference? That's why you got to choose you and your highest potential of your capacities right now more than ever. You can't blame anybody for your choices or what you choose to hang on to or what you choose to believe. It's not about anybody else. Take accountability for your own life, your own actions, your own being, and your own state. Promise yourself you're not going to get angry. What do you have to be angry about? That moment is going to disappear. Half the time you get angry because somebody's crossed a boundary that you didn't even voice. You get pissed off with people that could be totally avoided if you set the boundary and speak in truth. See, I don't get pissed off with people anymore. Not at all. I don't get angered. No, that's their choice. And it doesn't matter how they deal with me because that's a clear reflection of how they deal with their own asses. Because what you do to yourself is what you do to another. Well, that's not on me. And if somebody can't manage their own energy, well, they definitely as fuck can't manage mine. That's up to me. You see? Anyway, there's a huge time of change happening right now. And like I told Boss, I feel like my words are falling on deaf ears. And they have been for a long time. And I really told Boss tonight, I'm like, you know what? These lives, listen, I really feel like people are deaf. It's like it's not hitting them how it should. And I was told tonight, you don't need to see the impact. You hold the frequency. So you're already impacting the whole existence. Already. Well, I love you all. And yes, this world is recalibrating. And don't stay stuck in distractions or the fear-mongering or the installation of this new fear matrix that they're attempting because it won't work. You'll go down with it too. Literally. It's a new time. And energy wins. No matter what. So all those that can't hold the frequency as we shift into higher consciousness will be washed away by it. The state will dictate. And their choices, listen, and you know, I was asked to, Tobi, chosen ones. I've heard a lot of talk about chosen ones. The chosen ones are ones that chose to jump in, live hell, and choose love no matter what. Because they chose themselves and the power that fueled them. So being a chosen one is only because you chose yourself. Yeah, and that's how you win the crown. And that's how you got to break through the cap of consciousness. You chose to climb the ladder. You chose to dismantle everything that shackled you to hell. See, that's what being a chosen one is. It's not glory. No, it's actually walking through doom and gloom to acquire your crown, the gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah. Like I chose to come back, even after death, to hold a frequency and to share love with the world right through this time. I had to window for more time, and I made promises of what I would do with it. And I stay good to my word no matter who I'm speaking to. That's on me. Anyway, I love you all. Stay magical, stay powerful on purpose, be intentional with where your energy goes, and don't pay your attention into all the shit that needs to go in this world. Just wish it good riddance. Know it'll recalibrate. Know that it's for the highest good of all beings, no matter what truth is coming to light. But it's about time the world catches up. And that's what I have to say about it all. I love you all. Have a great night. Peace.